everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So, I hope you all enjoyed that video I just uploaded about issue 14 and when it's coming out and the new information we got about it. If not, then I can understand how some of you are pretty pissed off about how it's not basically giving us what we want, and how some of you believe that Emma Vasily is just stringing us along and doesn't really understand the lore and whatnot. Doesn't respect the characters. Whatever your reasons. So, I actually got this, I think it was yesterday, or it might have been today. I'm sorry. I'm just pretty tired, but I'm gonna do this one anyway. It was from one of my subs, Amber Ang, who I'm pretty sure is a she. I'm 90% sure. Has her own YouTube channel. I believe it's called Amber Ang 200. You people should take a look at that. I mean, I'm gonna have a look at it after this. But if it's not Amber Ang 200, then it's something else. Like, she'll just leave a comment in the description of this video below, I assume, if she wants to correct people. So, this is basically, like, I haven't gone through this, but how do I describe it? It's basically asking us fans, what do we believe happened after Max and Chloe survived the storm of Arcadia Bay? And so I thought it'd be interesting to go through it. And if people want, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can have a look at this too. So, anyways, let's get started. Hello, lovely fans of Life is Strange. After reading both comic books and many fan fictions in recent weeks, I have become curious about general community options on what happened to Max and Chloe after choosing to sacrifice Arcadia Bay. If that was indeed your choice, we already got some answers in the small cameo in Life is Strange too, but many of the blank spaces still have to be filled with our own personal headcanons. So let's go over them together. The survey has quite a few questions, but vast majority of them are simple selections. No long writing needed, should take only a few minutes. After we have a representative sample, I will share the results with you via subreddit r/lifeisstrange, hopefully in a week or less. This survey is purely out of my professional curiosity. All answers are completely anonymous. Before we begin, also important note, what is canonically said in Life is Strange 2 counts and is presumed for this form, meaning what David tells us in Life is Strange 2 was basis for many of these questions and their options. For example, Joyce has really passed away. If that is not your headcanon, the last question is open for your own notes and additions. There you can also write your crazy time travel takebacks and changes to what we know. Also, none of the questions are mandatory, but all are designed to be answered with as much options as possible in mind. Trigger warning. Since the experiences of Life is Strange must have been very traumatizing for Max and Chloe, I ask about the aspects of loss, tragedy, and dealing with trauma, especially section loss and trauma. Contains questions regarding death, trauma, self-harm, and even suicide. None of the questions are mandatory. Be careful and take care of yourself. Much love and hugs. P.S. Sorry for any typos or errors. English errors. Sorry, I said the word wrong. English is my second language. Thank you for participating. u/Milias_Mali. Okay, so it wasn't by Amber Ang. Okay. Because when it says here, Joyce passed away, I'm pretty sure she died from the storm in the game. Alright, so let's get started. Questions regarding immediate situation after the storm hits Arcadia Bay. How long did Max and Chloe stay in Arcadia Bay directly after the storm hit? A few hours. Well, they left. It was night when they were at the lighthouse, and then it goes to the day. So I'd assume it'd be between several hours and a day, but I'm willing to go a day. Okay, because they'd have to wait till the sunrise so that they could get back to their car and see everything. Well, get back to their car and drive off, and as they're driving they're seeing the destruction of Arcadia Bay. What did they do in Arcadia Bay before leaving? Look for Joyce, look for other people they knew, Max's classmates, David, Frank, etc. Tried to help with rescue of survivors, went to Chloe's house, went to Max's dorm. I think, like, they look for Joyce because if you remember, Joyce was in the diner and Chloe would want to try and find her mother, so I'm gonna go look for Joyce. Where did Max and Chloe went immediately after leaving Arcadia Bay? It's meant to be go, but it's alright. The person told us that English isn't their second language, but that English is their second language, so you know. Where did Max and Chloe... Now, this here is quite interesting. I always believed that Max and Chloe, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me, would stop off to visit her parents in Seattle. Because where else would she go? She wouldn't roam the country for a few days with Chloe then before visiting her parents, because that makes no sense. Hit the road for many weeks, months, then visit Seattle? I don't believe that. Went to traveling lifestyle, immediately visit Seattle? I don't believe that, after a very long time. Immediately went to live on the road, cut most ties with the past, no visit from Seattle, no. Because as you all remember, Max is trying out, when you hear David on the phone talking to Chloe in episode 5 of Life is Strange 2, it said that, It said that Max is trying out for photos at a gallery. So I would assume that she would keep in touch with her parents, and because they would have nowhere else to go, and they need a place to stay for a while to recover from the trauma and everything that's happened. Especially Max after the choice she made, because I assume even though we saved Chloe, it would still be very hard on Max and all of her friends and that dying. So she'd need as much comfort as she could get. Alright, who do you believe survived the storm outside of David and Victoria? Kate's Bunny's the second option. Okay, so excuse me. Alright, so since Kate is optional, okay, so I don't think Kate survived, sadly. Kate's Bunny, nah. Warren was in the diner, so he died. So Frank. Pompidou can die in episode 4, and I do believe he died in episode 5. Brooke. Okay. Now we don't see what happened to Brooke in the storm. Okay, so I'm gonna say she survived. Daniel, we don't really see him in the storm either, so yes. Now Alyssa, as you remember, she's trapped in that building, and you can help save her, or if she's had too many accidents around you, she'll back away. She'll be like, no, I need to stay away from you, and then she'll fall through that hole and die. Now I know there was that one guy taking photos, and he gets hit by a sign. I forget what his name was though. Okay. So I think Dana and Julia could survive, yeah. Well, and honestly, I gotta say that Samuel survived because he just seems really creepy. Now, the homeless lady is a deterrent, so we're just gonna leave that out. But this is actually pretty interesting. I don't know if she plays the same person, but before the storm, after Rachel gets stabbed and you're in that hospital waiting room, this is after you have the conversation with her dad, one of the receptionists looks exactly like the homeless lady. So and it's interesting to think that they're the same person. So if you want to go and check that out, it's a pretty cool Easter egg or something like that. Now, the parents of Nathan Prescott, I hate to say it, but I do believe they survived because, as you all know, there is a bunker that was built for Jefferson using the Prescott's money. And, you know, like, and as you all know, David, Victoria, Jefferson, and 2 other officers survived in that dark room because of the bunker. So I can assume that Nathan's parents, Sean, and his mother would have their own bunker where they could hold up as well. Plus, Nathan's sister was out in some other country, so she would still be alive. Now, I'm just trying to remember everyone's name. Logan's... That's it, Justin. I believe it was... No, was it Justin? Or Evan. Ah, shit. No, Evan. Evan was the one that got hit in the head with that thing and with that sign, and he got killed. Okay, so I think these are all the people that survived. Brooke, Daniel, Dana, Juliet, Samuel, parents of Nathan Prescott. Okay, how did Max and Chloe learn about the death of Joyce? I'm gonna say they found her body, because... Wait, no, then again... No, from David, because after the storm hit, David would try to find Joyce, because he'd know she'd be at the diner. And he'd go there, and he'd see that she was dead, and there'd be Warren and Frank, if he didn't die in episode 4. So yeah, we're gonna say from David. Did they ever get to see Joyce's body? Chloe did later after the storm. I don't think they ever see the body, because it's never been confirmed, but it's never been denied either, so no, never. How would you describe Max's initial reaction to the tragedy and death of the storm caused? And death the storm caused, not of the storm caused, my mistake. Max must have been very traumatized by the storm destroying Arcadia Bay, but what other words outside of traumatized would you use to describe her mental state? Multiple choice can be none. Depressed, like... I'd say she felt anger and resentment, because she has... Or, because that's how I'd feel in that situation. I have all this power, the ability to rewind time, change reality, and yet, at the same time, I'd be powerless in this situation where a storm has come, destroyed the city I grew up in, or the bay, you know what I mean, and yeah, people I care about are down there, because it's interesting how they put Max in this situation, because when you're playing Life is Strange, she is powerful, but at the same time, she's also powerless, and that's really one of the things I do like. So it's like, it's not just because you have a power means you're invincible, you're still the same, you know, and it's how you use the power and what you do with it. So you're invincible, but you're not invincible, you know? How would you describe Chloe's initial reaction to the tragedy and death of the storm caused? And death of the storm, yeah, but no. She'd be sorrow and grieving, because after she lost her dad, now she's lost her mum. Of course she'd be sad. Did they ever attend any funerals or memorial services for victims of the storm, excluding Rachel and Joyce? No, I don't believe they would. Because as you remember, at the end of episode 5, they drive away. They leave all that behind. So I do believe they just drive off and they never come back to Arcadia Bay again. How long did it take Max and Chloe to come to terms with the choice they made in Arcadia Bay? How long until they felt at peace with the choice? I'd say, because Max made the choice we made the choice for Max, for what she had, for deciding Chloe's fate, so, well, we could see in the photo with Max and Chloe in Life is Strange 2 episode 5, they look pretty happy with each other, so I'm going to say this, 3 to 12 months, I'm going to say that. Not 1 to 3 months, I'm going to say 3 to 12 months. Sorry about that. How long did it take Max to feel in control? Overcome seems too simple word. And safe from the trauma and abuse of the dark room. Honestly, wow, that's kind of a tough one to put. I'd say 1 to 3 months, because all that stuff with Jefferson, he's gone, like, I'd say, like, cause with Chloe's like kind of her anchor, just like Max is Chloe's anchor, you know what I mean? So Max is Chloe's anchor and Chloe is Max's anchor, so they'd be able to help each other out with their problems. So with Max and Jefferson, I do think she would recover more quickly from her experience in the dark room than she would from the storm destroying Arcadia Bay. So I'm going to go 1 to 3 months. But hey, you know, I'm not an expert at this. This is just my opinion. I'm sure all of you have other ones. Did after the storm Max or Chloe ever self-harm in any way or attempt it? No, I don't believe they do that. Like I said, they are all each other had in that. Well, obviously Max had her parents, but in this situation, I do believe they would have each other, you know, and they'd be there for one another. So no, they would not attempt self-harm. Was there a suicide? Oh my God, was there a suicide attempt by Max or Chloe after the storm? Yeah. How dare you, you monster! They would never do that. But there actually is. I remember reading this dark one, and Max was like cutting herself, and she ended up in a psychiatric ward for 6 months, which was there's like 9 chapters of it. I forget what it's called though. But there is this one I was mentioning before, The Lights of Arcadia Bay, and that is about because it's based off. It's a fanfic that's based off the choice to sacrifice Chloe to save Arcadia Bay, and it is Chasefield, and I know like some people like Chasefield, some people don't, but it's really the only fanfic I ship Chasefield because it's done so well. So I ship Chasefield in that fanfic. And in that, Max really hasn't been eating as much, and she's kind of gotten skinny, and her grades are slipping, and she's just binging Netflix and that. So yeah, I don't think there'd be a suicide attempt by Max and Chloe after the storm. I think maybe there would be moments of depression, but they'd have each other to get through it. Alright, what's the next one? What did relationship of Max and Chloe eventually become? Well, okay. At this point, like, because I do ship them, but at this point, because what year is Life is Strange 1 is set in 2013, yeah, that's right. 2013. Wait, is it shit? Hold on. Because Max is 18, so only four. Yeah, no, it's 2013 because Before the Storm was set in 2010, and Life is Strange 2 is set 20. Oh God, what year is that? Because I remember the endings, they jump all over the place. It's oh God, I'm so tired. Like I can't even think straight. I believe it was 2014, and it also jumped to 2015, so it'd be 2 years later. So yeah, I guess you could say like yes, because married couple, because that is what I do believe. I do believe they'd eventually end up together. But hold on, we don't see any ring on the photograph with Max and Chloe, so we could say partnership, engagement, but never married. But then wouldn't you have to slip on a ring or something? But no, you don't need a ring if you're going to be engaged. Like, cause I don't know how it works with homosexuals. Like, do you slip on a ring, or is it the same as marriage? Like, I have nothing against that. Like, I'm Is it the same? I don't know. I'm ignorant at these things. I apologize if some of you are homosexuals here. I didn't mean to offend you. Okay. What did exchange... Oh, sorry. When did exchange I love you too happen romantically between Max and Chloe after the storm? Well, if you remember when Chloe chooses to sacrifice, when Max chooses to sacrifice Chloe to save Arcadia Bay, they have that kiss. So I'd say it would be a few days after that. Yeah, a few days. When did the first romantic kiss happen after the storm between Max and Chloe? Yeah, I'd say a few days. When did Max and... Oh, really gonna ask me this? When did Max and Chloe first have sex after... Yeah, very soon. Minutes or hours. Yeah, that certainly was quick. I'd say a few weeks. No, I'm gonna give it a few months. Because they're still addressing their feelings for each other and they care for each other and everything in their lives. They need time to just come to terms with what's happened. They need to find their center. So yeah, a few months. Yeah, basically they're engaged and when did they have sex? Even longer. No, I do think a few months. How long did Max and Chloe... Yeah, for the rest of her life and beyond. Like, only a few years minimum given what we learn in Life is Strange 2. But I'm gonna go for the rest of their lives and beyond. Yeah, it's Bay over Bay, bitches. If you said they became engaged or even married, who do you think asked who? I'd say Chloe asked Max, because in my mind, I always picture Chloe being the one to propose. And I've also read a few fanfics where Chloe's the one to propose. It's never Max, so I'm gonna go with that. Chloe asked Max, who expected it. Yeah, I do. Well, you know what? It was yes. Let's make it a nice surprise for Max. I mean, she deserves to have surprises, good surprises in her life. If you said they became engaged or even married, how long after the storm do you think it happened? In their late adult life, what is this? I'd say, because a wedding, it takes a while to plan. Like, I remember, my dad was engaged to this woman, Lauren, and she's actually the mother of my half-sister. And then they were engaged for a few months, and then in the end, they broke up. He's with someone new now. Yeah, same like my aunt, she was engaged to this guy, Mark, back in August, but he sadly passed away. There was some stuff with his heart. I only met him a few times, but he's a real nice guy. So yeah, I'm gonna say in a few months. Did Max and Chloe have children? Well, I've really only read one fanfic, and that was By Your Side. Then it had a sequel, Together Forever, and they had one kid. So yeah, well, I'm just gonna go one kid. Damn my throat. Did Max still have her time traveling powers after the storm? Yeah, I'd say this. She tried, they worked, but she refrained from using them ever again. Because that's one of the things I do believe that she would. She'd be traumatized after this event, and she wouldn't want to use her powers again unless it was absolutely necessary. You know what I mean? Because she'd be too scared to use them if it ended up creating another storm or an earthquake, you know? Did Chloe ever get any supernatural powers? No, I don't believe Chloe would get any powers. If Max and Chloe had offspring, would they also have supernatural powers? this is a tough one because in the cut content from Before the Storm, Rachel's biological mother was meant to have powers. She was meant to have something to do with the Ravens in Chloe's dreams. And then Rachel was, was meant to... Because I always believe Rachel had powers to control over fire, so I do believe she has powers. So I'm going to say yes, since they were biological children, powers can be inherent. Yes, I do believe that. Although how they can have biological children doesn't make sense unless it works like with the Asari in Mass Effect, or they somehow are able to create offspring by taking the genetic code of two people's blood and turning that into a sort of, you know, like sperm sample, then just injecting it. You know what I mean? Just weird science shit. What is the highest education Max eventually reached? I'd say because Max and Chloe are out, and Max is trying for diplomas. Not diplomas. She's trying to put her photos out. So I'd say she would. Well, because you don't need I'm pretty sure you don't need a high school certificate if you want to become a famous photographer. You just take photos. So I'm gonna say she finished her high school diploma or GED. What is the highest education Chloe eventually reached? Yeah, I'm gonna say the same. She did that because I remember reading on one of the fanfics where it's like Chloe's trying to finish her GED, and that's really one of the things that I've only seen about her when it's like when she tries to go back to high school and finish her GED. This is in the fanfic By Your Side. Well, in Life is Strange 2, it's suggested that Max and Chloe live a life on the road. When do you think that they became more stationary and settled down? Never or only during their twilight years, hobo queer aunts forever. Queer aunts? What? I'm just so confused. Well, as you all know, Karen didn't settle down, and how old was she? She'd have to be Esteban's age, because Esteban was 45, Sean and Daniel's dad. But she left when Daniel was shortly born, so she'd be in her late 30s, so I'd have to say this, because Max loves photography and taking pictures of the world, so I'd say between 40 and 50 years. And that way, her and Chloe would find somewhere nice to settle down, maybe like that place in episode 5 where David, Karen, and those community of people are, which was a really nice place. Okay, what did Max have as her occupation in life? I'd say because photography is one of the things she'd want to do, she'd be a part of photography, just these three. Photography, art curator for hire, and artist. But she could be hired to do some work, and an art curator, so art curator is not really a full-time job. It's like you do have to put, it is a lot of work, but it's not like you have to go all in. It's not like, oh, you have to do this job, you can't do anything else. No, you can be an art curator and still do other jobs, or have a second job. So yes, I do believe those three. Okay, what did Chloe have as her occupation? Okay. So, as you all know in the comic, which isn't canon, she's drawing, painting, and she does the High Seas band logo. So I'm gonna go drawing, paint. That's meant to be painting, I believe. Graffiti artist. I can also see her as a tattoo artist. And just basically these ones, because we see she's got a job in the comics and she's helping repair cars, so I can see that. I can also see her as a waitress for doing her mum's, like her mum was, but I do believe that she'd be better at these four. Well, what I'm saying. Were Max and Chloe happy in their professional life? Yeah, they were both happy with their work. I do believe that, and if they had, as long as they had each other, they would be happy no matter what job they were at. Were Max and Chloe successful in their professional life? Yeah, I like to believe that they were both successful. With which survivors of the storm, excluding David, do you think Max and Chloe maintain contact in upcoming years? Well, if they, well, it is mentioned in Life is Strange 2 that Victoria talked about Max in that letter, so I'm going to say that they did keep in contact with her, sadly, because fucking bitch. And if Kate was still alive, I'd say they'd keep in contact with her as well. But I'm pretty sure Warren's dead, but Kate might not have even survived the storm because I did that, so she wasn't one of the survivors, so we're just gonna rule out Kate, so I guess we can say Victoria would be the one they kept in touch with, the one she kept in touch with. So we're just gonna leave that there. For fun. What do you think Chloe caused David when in her 20s? She tried calling him Dave and he tiredly. Yeah, she even, when she says stepfather, remember that? What, Mr. Oblivious to the fact that I am in a relationship with Max? So I imagine she called him David, but also, because she calls him stepfather, or, so, remember, when the storm hit, she's like, my mom deserves more to die in a shitty diner, even my stepfather, or stepdad. Okay, so next, what was it? Did Max and Chloe talk together about Rachel after the storm? I'd say no, she was a memory for them because they figured out what was happening, well, not happening, what happened to her, and they moved on from that. Did they ever want to visit Rachel's grave? No, we leave that past. They leave it buried. Did they ever actually visit Rachel's grave? No. What role did Rachel play in their future? Multiple choice can be oh so none. So I'd say it was a sad memory, but multiple can be oh so none. So I'm just gonna say it was a sad memory. Alright, so then we go up to this one. How would you describe your relationship with Max and Chloe? Yeah, I love them so much, man. Just, I love my Pricefield. I love Bay Over Bay. Come on, Emma Vasili. Bring fucking Pricefield back to the comics. Like, bring them back together. I want Dusk, Chloe, and Max to reunite. How often do you find yourself thinking about... Yeah, once a few weeks. Well, no, I gotta say once a few weeks, because when I'm coming up with videos, but I gotta go a few days because I'm always coming up with ideas for videos, what I'm gonna do. So yeah, now it's a few days. Is there anything you would like to add? Any crazy time shenanigans that make your head canon absolutely not applicable to this survey? No, not really. Oh, here's one. Like, I want a game with Max and Chloe after the events of Life is Strange. After the events of Life is Strange. That's what I want. Okay, thank you for participating. I'll share the results in the upcoming days. Yep, I'm gonna wait, submit another response. What? Oh, shit. Yeah, just better do that. This content is neither created nor endorsed. Okay, so okay, I didn't get rid of my progress. Okay, I thought I did. So anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If any of you are interested in this link, I'll leave it in the description below. Let me know what you think in the comments. What would your choices be? Would you have the same as me? Would they be different? Let me know. I really do want to know, because I'm interested in your comments and that. Because Life is Strange isn't my channel isn't just about what I want. I want to hear what you fans want, what you subs want to see. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.